Now, with such a diverse audience, if I start talking about investors and numbers, I may lose some people, and I want us to walk the journey together. So the first thing is to demystify myself. The first two speakers who spoke today said they're bankers. One was an investment banker, and the other one was the regulator of bankers. But now they're entrepreneurs. So who am I? I've been in corporate investment banking for the last 17 years, and I've structured investments in and out of this country. Worked for the largest banks in the world, and now I run a fund. I'm a founder and also run the fund. I run a fund called National Standard Finance. National Standard Finance is a global fund that operates in Europe, Asia, and America. We brought it into Africa to address one thing: social impact investing. Who's had that terminology before? Social impact investing. You probably think it's an NGO term, but to give you a scenario of where you are, you're at the right place at the right time and in the right season. Because if you look at America, it's a very developed country, financially, socially, and many other stratospheres. Who knows the last frontier in investments? Africa. So you're at the right place, at the right time, and this is your season. So what are we doing? We have decided to invest in Africa, and what we are doing is slightly different, because your traditional sources of funds are where? Banks. Do you know banks don't take risk? Do you know that, or have you not realized that? So they're not your partners. So your source of funds are where? SACCOs? Family? Because the space you are in is of risk. Now you've had the terminology high risk, high return. So you're at the right place, and if you structure it right, you're going to get the right returns. So the idea is to understand who are your partners. And I think the speakers have been talking about understanding your partners and the relationships you'll have with your partners. So for me today, I think I want us to start with, first I salute you. For those who are employees, I think entrepreneurs are the hardest workers ever. Because when you're employed, you're like in a ship. Whether you wake up and work hard or not, the ship still moves. The entrepreneur, if you don't move, you sink, isn't it? And that is hard. So I salute you. Clap for yourselves. So I have a very good respect for that. So today I want us to just reboot and have a conversation. Is that okay? Yeah? Look at this picture. What does it say? Sorry, I'm trying to interact. That's my nature. There's a guy with a light bulb. What's that? An idea. All of you have different ideas, yeah? Then it's multiplied with who? Money. And grows to? More money. That's the end of my presentation. Now, we are going to connect the dots. Waithaka has given you a framework of the understanding of customers and the pain. What I'm going to do is connect the dots for funding. So we're going to have 3 discussions. Blueprint, what makes a business succeed or fail, and what we look for as investors. Are we okay with that? Yeah. Good. So let's start off with the blueprint. We had this somebody in construction here. Can you build a house without a blueprint? Can you? Otherwise, what are you going to build? You're going to build something, yeah? You need to have a blueprint. Now, the blueprint is not just about your business. It's also about your life. Irrespective of which faith you believe in, irrespective of your value systems, you must have a blueprint of your life, which feeds into your business. I think your passion is about young people. There's a blueprint about that. Yeah? There's somebody else who's helping hustlers. There's something that called you initially. So the first thing as an entrepreneur, and because this is what we look for as investors, when I see somebody walk into my office, there's no emotion. I know people come and plead and talk about good ideas. But when it comes to investment, there's no emotions. The deal must make sense. So if you don't know your blueprint, how am I going to get convinced? Are we together? Sit back and look at your business and ask yourself, how relevant is it and how does it align to me? So the first thing is to have a blueprint. It gives you a vision. Yeah? So if you've been running all over, I say hit the reset button. Sit back and say, okay, I'm doing this business. Yes, I'm doing something good. There's a social impact, but what's the blueprint? What's the end game? If there's no end game, then as an investor, we're just together. I mean, investors are not like a Catholic marriage where you're in it forever. They look for an exit, isn't it? Our relationship is the business. It can evolve to friendships and everything else, but initially the relationship is a business. So you must have a blueprint and an idea of where you're going. Now, again, I repeat, if you have not done it, take time. Just hit the reset button and let's start all over. I want to share a quote from Martin Luther, who is a favorite person of mine. I'll read it, or maybe we can all read it together. Let's read it together. Can you see or I read it for you? Okay, let's go. In your life's blueprint, you must have the basic principles, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. If you're here for the sake of just having a tag of being an entrepreneur, you're wasting time. Go work, go be employed, get a pension, retire well, enjoy life. But your blueprint as an entrepreneur, and again, I'm a quasi-entrepreneur, and that's how I know. When I was in the investment world, I had so many analysts. By the time a deal came to my table, they had done a lot of work. Me, I was just sifting things. Now, because we are quasi-setup, the kind of setup we are, and I had it, somebody mentioned the developer. If you hire developers, you're broke day one. If you hire analysts, top analysts, you're going to be broke day two. Yeah? So a lot of us in our team are fluid and are doing what we used to do when we were taking selfies, when we were that age. So you must have determination. If you don't have determination, you're not going to achieve. So we've agreed, blueprint, reset the button, reset the mindset when you're talking about investments. Again, whose business is not in line with their passion? Anyone? Are all your business ideas linked to your passion? Yes or no? No. Now, if you're not passionate about something, when you hit the storm, what will you do? Will you turn? There's a high possibility you'll turn, isn't it? Yes. So again, don't copy what other people are doing. Always look for something that's close to your passion. I'm passionate about social impact. Why? My blueprint message in life is, when God calls me home, will he say, well done, good and faithful servant? Or were you the guy who was just sitting and made money? That's my calling. You have to have a calling. Your satisfaction and your passion have to go together, because whether you're born rich, whether you're born poor, the storms of life will come. And if you're not passionate about something, then you're not going to be as determined as you were. Martin Luther died for what? for what he believed in, yeah? Equality. Are you ready to die for your business? And I'm not saying die, but you know what I mean, yeah? Now, it's important we set this right. So I've just talked about that, so I don't need to get into it. But I like quotes, and I'll read it for you. Chasing your dream will develop courage. Now, how many of you have already had a few storms in life in business? Felt like quitting? But now you've overcome. Now you're more stronger, isn't it? Yeah? It develops courage, which will give you the fuel to achieve amazing things. I could give you a list of entrepreneurs who've started and failed, and now they are very successful. How many of you go to KFC? Ladies? Do you know when he made money? How old was he? How many times had he failed? Many times. But he kept at it. I hope I'm communicating. Yes. You must keep at it. Even when your wife wants to leave you, because you're like your car can't even defrost in the rain. Stick at it. She'll come back when you're... Okay, where I come from, money has a correlation to love sometimes. But I guess worldwide. So, what makes businesses fail or succeed? And one or two answers. What do you think makes business succeed or fail? Or let's start fail. Is it lack of money? How many think lack of money is the reason businesses fail? You can be honest. Anyone have an idea why businesses fail? What are we saying? You don't need me. I provide money. So businesses fail because of, point at yourself. You're the line between success and failure, isn't it? That is why businesses fail. The reason your business has not got the right funder is because of somebody said it's okay to say you don't know. It's true. Men don't ask for directions. You're lost. You're arguing with your wife now just because you don't want to ask. I'm guilty of that. Yeah, and I say I'm just trying to find new routes. There are many, many other ways of doing it, but the first thing you have to do is do what? Critical thinking. How many read, again, I'm a Christian, so whatever faith you believe in, how many read the Bible or the whatever religion you believe in? Do you read your scriptures? It keeps you up to date, isn't it? Yeah? In business, when was the last time, okay, let me see. How many in the service industry? When was the last time you read the latest trends in service industries and what the changes are? In construction, what is the technology that's coming tomorrow that will be a threat or an enabler? You understand what I mean? Always read, always be at the forefront of business. Discipline. I tell you, I used to see it and I still see it. Guys go into the office and the first 1 hour, what are they doing? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Then you go for tea. You come back, 1 or 2 things, lunch. And when you go home, you're like, hey, business is tough. Eh? Today I didn't make anything. But use the most productive time of the day you on Instagram. We have to have discipline. Set times. I said I'm not taking a selfie, maybe after. But you understand what I mean? You have to do that. We are here today, Saturday morning, not sleeping at home or doing anything. That is discipline. So apply it in your life. Being human. Have you ever heard that? This is another reason why businesses fail. You stop being human. Real communication and real relationships. If you're in debt and you don't talk to the debt collector nicely, what will happen? If you're caught by a police and you don't go to his level and start negotiating with him, what will happen? You can either get out of a situation or get yourself in more trouble. This is another thing. Be human. Real communication. Say, I need this. We need to do this. These are just basic facets, but you have to think about them. Once you are real and human, what do I do as an investor? I begin to see your passion. We talked about blueprint. I begin to say, if I put money in this person is going to bat until the end. You understand? So I say the risk of the individual not stepping up to the plate is zero or reduced. Remember, why do businesses fail? So if I'm not convinced from a human relationship about what you're doing, why will I put my money there? Like I said, investments is not emotional. Getting things done. Have you ever seen people busy and they don't achieve results? You're like a rolling moss. You have 50 things you're doing. At the end of the day, how much money have you made? There is a time in our businesses we say, stop everything. We're all now debt collectors. No new business, no nothing. Get the money into the bank. So again, get things done. Your to-do list. Let Twitter and Instagram be at the end of however you manage your time. But at the end of the day, you always have to reflect, what did I do and what did I achieve? Otherwise, your business is not growing. You have to self-regulate on that aspect. So, I've been speaking about what? I've not even talked about money, yeah? We've been talking about the basics. Now that we've dealt with the basics, do we go into the attracting of capital? Because capital helps businesses do what? Grow. Now, how many people are so emotionally attached to their businesses that they can't sell? You won't sell your business. Good. It's very hard to attract an investor if you can't sell a portion of your business. I didn't sell the whole thing, but the investor wants what? A piece. So you have to internalize, this child of mine or this boyfriend, this girlfriend, I'll share. Because the investor will bring something, yeah? And then the second principle, you must always remember, the investor is not here to stay. Yeah? He will sell it at some point once it creates value. So he can sell it back to you. You can structure it that you're given the first right of refusal to buy back the business when he's exiting. Yeah? So remember this, the investor is not here to stay. He's in to make money. But he will make an impact in your business. Yeah? So we were speaking and we said there are people in various stages of life and various stages of their business. What I'm going to do now is walk you through the kind of investor you need for the stage of your business. Okay? That's a reason why people don't attract the right investments, because you go to the wrong investor. It's simple as that. There's a lot of money in the market, as Waidaka had mentioned. How much have enough investments to put our money? You see that oxymoron? You're sitting there saying, wapi pesa. I'm sitting here saying, where are the transactions? But we need to marry the two. Have a blueprint, be passionate about what you do. So, the first thing I want you to do is to understand when to maximize investors. There's a lady who said she's not going to sell her business. But maybe in future, she will say, I may want to sell my business and maximize my returns. Or I'll reach a point where I'm growing old and I'm like, I can't be traveling doing everything. I need an injection of capital for me to sit back and make my returns. Yeah? So, the first thing we do is, you have to appreciate where your life cycle of business is. Some are starting, some are in between, and some are mature businesses. Once you appreciate where your business is, then you attract the right investor. What I've written in red is sufficient returns at acceptable risks. That's all we look at. What kind of return will I get and what risk am I willing to take? Now, the other rule about investments, we are ready to lose money. Investors are ready to lose money. They don't choose to, but they know in investments you win some and you lose some. That's a principle. So we have to be very critically aware of what we're getting into. So the first thing, again, I said is be sure and appreciate where your business life cycle is. And then timing is everything. Right now, Africa is going through an e-commerce revolution, so to speak. But do you know the biggest challenge? And we were laughing about it the other day. You have Jumia, you have, how many are there? All of them. Do you know their biggest challenge? Delivery. We don't have a national addressing system. If you live in Ruaka or Githurai, how will I find your house? You understand? I've just given you an opportunity to think about. But timing is everything. So look at your business critically and say, where am I and who should I be attracting? The logic of the deal. If you don't remember anything I say today, remember this. The logic of the deal, yeah? It's always the same. Whether it's $10 million, $1 million, $1 million shillings, 500,000, 10,000 shillings, the logic is, once you understand the logic of the deal, you can deal with any investor, however big or small they are. Yeah? Now that's a class in itself, to properly appreciate the deal logic. And in investment banking, it's like riding a bicycle. If you don't hit certain parameters, then we move away. So understand the logic of the deal, and you'll be on the right side. Now, it was mentioned by other speakers that people invest in good ideas. I'm here to bust that myth. They invest in good industries. Your idea can be brilliant, but if you're in the wrong industry or the wrong season, no one is going to invest money in that, yeah? So always remember that investors invest in the right industry. And so you may meet some people who are purely in agriculture. Don't go talk to them about construction. Yeah? Their industry is agriculture. So whatever industry you are in, make sure that whichever investor you're talking to is in the right industry with yourself. Who has ever seen this cycle of investments? Can you see it? Or can I walk you through it? Now, on the far left is a line which says cash flows. And this is the traditional life cycle of investments. When you start a business, the first source of funding, who are your first investors in your business? Friends and family, isn't it? You use your own savings and all of that because it's very hard to attract capital at the beginning. And that's why I said make sure you know your blueprint so that when you talk to your friends and family, they're happy to invest in your business. So your business starts, maybe 3 years, this is when it could fail or succeed. But there are people who invest in this kind of business. They're called vulture funds, or startup funds. I asked, are you willing to sell your business? That's a question you have to internalize. If you sell your business over here, a big chunk will go. And they'll ask for a high return. So your relationship with them will be based on future returns. So if I take the original example, I said, Jumia and everyone is coming here today, their challenge is distribution. You come to me with an idea for distribution and I look at it and I like it. Because I know the numbers of e-commerce, I may put my money there, but I'll control the business. So you will be a shareholder, but who will control the business? I will. So this is the hardest stage for investors, for entrepreneurs and investors. And that's why the blueprint has to be right. Once it starts doing well, you go to financial institutions. That's when banks come to you, you don't even go to them. They come looking for you. Oh, your business is good, come and give you a loan. Have you ever heard that? It's because they know you're low risk. It's not because they like you. So, financial institutions then come in and help you grow your business. Now, once your business is beginning to grow, the challenge you have to ask yourself is, you've worked for maybe 5, 7 years, and maybe now you want to pay yourself a dividend. Because again, the objective of running a business beyond social impact is to make some money, isn't it? And you say, I need to pay myself so I can buy a good car, live a good life. Not that you're not living a good life, but you want to spoil yourself. You get strategic investors. The strategic investors is not just money. They're able to take your business to the next level because they also bring skill sets. So don't just take your uncle's money or whoever's money. Whenever somebody is pumping money into your business, make sure that they can double the returns for you. Otherwise, you've just sold your business for the sake of selling the business. So funds always bring skill sets which are lacking in the business, or resources which can make you grow. And this is a story. Maybe you'll reach 60, 80, you're tired. The business has grown. You can exit either publicly or privately. Now, same graph, different analysis. The important thing to look at is seed, early, mid-expansion, late, and exit. I'm a traditional believer that you have to exit a business at some point. Just like a president, you can't be president for life. You have to bring other people with new ideas. So again, I'm going to walk through this, and this again hinged on relationships. So, stage one, which is a seed investor. If you're not good with your family, who's going to invest day one? Where are you going to get your sources of funds? So, your relationship with your primary investors has to be key, isn't it? Yeah? So don't ignore those people, they're very important. Especially for those who want to start their businesses. For those who've started businesses, they know what that means. So you have to understand the basic knowledge of investors and equity players and how they'll impact the process of your company. So the only reason you're selling shares in your company is for what? Somebody tell me, why would you sell a stake in your beautiful business? Sorry? To raise capital for growth. That's the only reason, yeah? For growth. Otherwise, if you're growing by yourself, do you need to sell your business? So again, understand that psychic. So early stage financing is provided by angel investors or venture capital firms, like I told you. So if your business is starting and you feel that it is attractive enough to attract investors, these are the kind of people who come. Angel investors can be family. That's what they call angel. They're nice. But remember, their key role is to help you think through the blueprint and grow with it. Flip side is, the stake they take is higher than you'd normally expect. So again, you have to be at peace with that. That's stage one. Mid-stage, for those who are already beginning to see their businesses grow, is where you talk about expansion capital. So the first guys, when you're starting a business, is sort of to give you the jump start, yeah? When you're in mid-stage in business, it's all about expansion. So expansion could be you want to be in multiple jurisdictions, or you want to grow the existing business you have because the capital you have already cannot help you grow as fast as you want. Yeah? And those, again, come from private equity. I told you, if you're approaching a financial institution like a bank, they're not looking to take risk. If your business is good, then they'll look at giving you some form of working capital. We talked about the mid-stage funds and late-stage funds. The late-stage funds especially are for those who now want to exit business. Like I said, you want to pay yourself. You've worked, you want to retire, or the business you feel has reached a place it doesn't need you and you want to start something else. There are various reasons why one will do that. But when you're looking at this kind of place, is where now industry players come and take over. So for example, if you start, back to the original example, if you come up with a way of dealing with the national addressing system and you start doing it well, do you know who will come by you first? Somebody like Safaricom, because they want to control the whole value chain. So industry players are the ones who come towards the late stage. And you exit. That's me. I'd rather grow old playing golf by a beach somewhere than dealing with cement orders and all of that. So at some point, I'll exit. But that's an individual choice. You can decide to exit or stay in the business if you're very passionate about it. So back to the relationships. As a fund, we receive a lot of proposals. If you don't have relationships with the people you're going to raise funds with, it's just like any other thing. Why would I bend backwards for you? You must have relevant relationships, and this just shows you the type of analysis most investment funds look at. They look at 1,000 investments a day. They have to choose 5 or 10 because, again, you're not going to splash funds all over. So make sure you have the right relationships, nurture them. Nurture them. Let's read it together, the last line. Without strong relationships, it is impossible to have success as a business owner. That's a fact. If you don't have the right relationships, whether it's with your suppliers, employees, financiers, it's very difficult to grow your business. So thank you very much.